Hello, Franklin families. It's Miss Farrar, our library media specialist. And this week's Franklin Friday Read Aloud is Winter Sleep, a hibernation story. Our story is written by Sean Taylor and Alex Morss. It is illustrated by Sinyi Chiu. When it was summer, I stayed at Granny Silvie's house. She knows lots of things, like the names of flowers and how to spot a deer's hoof print. And where to splash around the pond, climb a slope of green ferns, pass through oak trees with moss on one side, and find the secret glade. Butterflies fluttered, even though it was late. Granny Silvie helped me listen for songs of different birds. It was still warm. We stayed right into the summer magic of the night. And we kept so still, we saw the dormouse who lives there run up a hazel tree. When I went back to stay with Granny, it was winter. I asked her, "Can we go to the secret glade?" She said, "Yes, if you can find it." Everything was different. The pond was frozen hard. The ferns on the slope looked dead. The oak trees with moss on one side were all bony. And the glade was quiet and bare. It wasn't anything the same. No butterflies, no flowers, no birds. I wanted to see the dormouse, but Granny said, "The dormouse will be having a winter sleep." It was too cold to stay, and I said, "Nothing's alive in winter." Granny Silvie told me, "It is." We can't see the dormouse, but she's hiding here. She'll be safely, deeply sleeping all winter long. This is her hibernation time. In autumn, she feasted on forest nuts, fruits, and insects. Then the long nights came. She felt cold, heavy, and sleepy. There was nothing more to eat. So she made a nest ball, and she's inside, secretly snoring until spring sun warms her body again. On the way back, I asked, "Are there other animals hiding in the trees?" Granny said, "Yes, lots of bats hibernate in trees. On warm nights, they fly across the forest, chasing insects and pulling spiders from webs. But even their food rests in winter. So bats snuggle up in a hollow trunk or cave and snooze through the frosty weather." I said, "Where do all the insects go?" Granny told me, "Some are sleeping right under your feet. The ground is frozen hard, but down below there are stag beetles waiting to come out. The queen bumblebee sleeps in a tiny tunnel. Some moths and butterflies hide underground, often wrapped up waiting for spring. Mother earwigs look after their eggs until they hatch when spring comes." We were coming to the pond, so I asked, "What about in the water?" Granny said, "There's ice on top, but pond life waits below. Before it froze, frogs dive down deep into slimy mud. Now they are still and breathing so slowly they seem dead. But when the water warms in the spring, we'll hear them croaking again." I said, "So all sorts of animals are having a winter sleep." "That's right," Granny Silvie told me. "Some even make a special home for winter. A bear builds a den deep in the woods, perhaps in a cave, an old tree trunk, or a hidden hollow. Mommy Bear slows down and rests there with her cubs, curled up tight on a bed she's made from soft moss, twigs, and leaves. Granny Silvie was still telling me about the animals in winter when I was in bed. You see, she told me, there's plenty of life tucked up hiding in the cold. I nodded. I could feel the cozy magic of the dark night outside. And even though it wasn't very late, I closed my eyes for a winter sleep. What is hibernation? Can you imagine going to bed in winter and not getting up until spring? When a snowy blanket arrives, much of the world seems sleepy. The sun feels lazy. The nights are long. Trees look undressed. Ponds freeze over. Fewer birds sing. Even the flowers are resting. With plants shutting down for the colder, darker winter months, there are few flowers, fruits, nuts, and leaves for animals to feed on. There are also fewer insects to eat. It is difficult for many creatures to find food and keep warm. Instead, they snuggle up somewhere secret, sheltered, and safe. Hibernation is a special kind of deep sleep. It helps animals live through the coldest and hungriest times by saving them energy. They find or make a place to hide out of danger from hungry predators. Mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and many beasts have different kinds of winter sleep. I hope you enjoyed your story this week. Have a very safe week.